Joni's going to be presenting today. This is her first presentation that she's made to the second one, that's right, to the group. If you haven't ever visited her,
the first one she
works her wonders with her news.
you don't remember she did a acupuncture on chicken, I believe, in the first presentation.
The video didn't.
Oh, the video. Oh, I thought it wasn't live chicken. Yeah.
So I just want to turn it over to Joni, so go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Before I dive into talking about what I do, I want to tell you why I do what I do. Even though today I find life to be an exciting adventure full of possibilities, that was not always the case. To say that I lived a life of misery doesn't fully describe the suffering that I experienced. So there was a time that I spent most of my days wishing that I was dead. I lived with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, anxiety, panic attacks, severe depression, insomnia, what else? I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and PTSD. I tried every expert, every doctor, every counselor, every magic protocol, pill, and potion, and I had little to no relief from pretty much all of it. It was so bad I couldn't walk to the mailbox, which was about a block away, and back without being in bed in severe pain for most of the next day. At that time, my mom had started seeing a 5-element acupuncturist, and she suggested that I go. And I had many protests. I already tried acupuncture and it didn't work. It's too far away. I don't have the money. And then my mom literally forced me to go. And you might say, well, how does someone force anyone to do anything? It's very difficult, as most of us have tried. But you might know the term, once a Marine, always a Marine. And my mom was a Marine, and so I went to acupuncture. And within a month, I was not only working a full-time job, I was running every morning. So within 2 months, I had signed up for acupuncture school. I lived in Oregon, and I was signing up for school in Colorado. So today, I feel very grateful that I can make sense of the years of suffering that I experienced, because I am more able to help others alleviate their suffering. There are many different styles of acupuncture. I hold a master's degree in classical 5-element acupuncture. Obviously, I hold very dear to my heart because it gave me the opportunity to actually have a life. I'm going to tell you more about that later, but before I do that, I want to tell you about auricular acupuncture. So, using the ears for acupuncture, which I found to be a very effective adjunct to 5-element. As you can see here, the ear is considered a microsystem of the entire body. We look at it as a fetus upside down, so the head being at the earlobe, the feet being at the top, and all the parts of the body being in between. Another view here. And so by accessing different points in the ear, we're actually accessing the entire body. There's different ways to stimulate the points. Just a good ear massage feels fantastic. You can add essential oils. This is great to do with your pets, partners, and kids. It feels wonderful. It's very relaxing. But when certain auricular devices are placed in the ears by acupuncturists, the effects can be very profound. So there's 2 particular protocols under the category of auricular acupuncture that I utilize On the left is the Donna Protocol. On the right is you'll see the needles in the Donna Protocol, which is the National Acupuncture Detox Association. And then the Battlefield Acupuncture uses the TACs, the picture on the right. So auricular acupuncture can treat all of the symptoms listed here and more. And you'll see that there's crossover between the Donna Protocol, the Battlefield Acupuncture, and auricular acupuncture. So I'll tell you some of the differences. Again, the needle with the ears, there are 5 particular points that the needles go into. These needles are left in between 15 and 45 minutes. The person is usually sitting in one spot or lying down. This protocol has been used in treatment centers, mental health facilities, in group therapy. They found that actually when used in a group...
And TRP.
And TRP, yes. So actually when used in a group and people are working on a similar issue like with veterans, there's been veterans that they'll go to stress relief clinics and they've gotten off of multiple psychotropic drugs, like 15 or 16. And they found that when people are all working on a similar issue, they come and get acupuncture, there's a kind of a group healing that happens that is quite profound. So Acupuncturists Without Borders and Colorado Acupuncture Medical Reserve Corps, which I'm a volunteer at, uses this particular protocol to help relieve the effects of trauma from any kind of disasters, whether it's man-made or even terrorist actions like mass shootings. This particular protocol was used at Ground Zero for 9/11, and I have a video that talks about that very effectively. It's quite interesting. I'm happy to send to anybody who wants it. I use this protocol. I'll just show you some pictures. So when we had the floods in Boulder, I went and volunteered and treated the first responders. You can see them here. Very happy. It was so awesome to see these guys come in, just a little bit of macho in some of them. And they would sit down, put the needles in, and they just got so quiet and calm. It was really quite remarkable to see. I also use this protocol in private stress relief sessions, so I will combine it with tapping, which helps also reduce trauma, aromatherapy of an infrared massage bed, and use hemisync music, which helps also calm the brain. The Battlefield Acupuncture, we use these small tacks. Some of you might have them in here or have experienced them. And these tacks are retained for 3 to 5 days. Some people do leave them in longer. People will note with going back to the Donna Protocol that they just feel more relaxed, kind of a euphoric feeling. And people often note a euphoric feeling with this, but it is a more energizing treatment, even though they note that their body feels more relaxed. This protocol was designed for the military, but it's very effective for everyone. It's a fast, effective, convenient way to treat people. People can come in, I can place these tacks in 15 minutes and they're out the door. So again, there's different styles of acupuncture. Again, I'm trained as a classical 5-element acupuncturist. The reason acupuncture was so effective for me the second time when I went to the 5-element person, is because this wonderful woman, Bonnie Erin Lorenz, used 5-element acupuncture to treat me first. And that's always my preference with clients because it sets up a great foundation. And then all the rest of treatment, whether it's auricular acupuncture or counseling or nutrition, all of those things can then take root because the body, mind, and spirit are balanced and designed to heal naturally, and it's just putting that back into action. So there's foundational treatments that we use to do that, clearing blocks, purifying energy, strengthening that core energy. We also tend to give homework in 5-element acupuncture because we see treatment as a healing partnership. And session after session after session, Bonnie's homework for me would be gentle with yourself. So I often use this suggestion with clients or some form of it. So in closing, I want to thank you so much for being supportive and patient with me today and every day. And I hope that you are all gentle with yourselves and everyone around you, because we're all doing the best we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Joni.
And I have a ear model that just shows some of
I
the
thought I was the ear model.
devices. Well, you can walk,
I can walk
well,
around,
they can
but
walk
I'm
around
supposed to
you.
sit. I mean,
Yeah, they can walk around you.
Van Gogh?
Yeah, you can.
Van Gogh?
Yes.
So what's the difference between like classical 5 elements and a normal acupuncture? Is it
So, so like TCM, I assume 5 element is a more ancient form, and so we're looking at a person as being a part of nature. And within nature, we look at the 5 elements. And so we are looking for very specific diagnostic cues that would indicate which one of those elements, which we would then call the causative factor, have been disrupted. That happens between conception and 2 years old. And so there will be certain particular signs that we look for, and by really integrating, that's not the only thing we treat, but by integrating that into a major part of the treatment, the person is able to heal on all levels. So if you imagine a wagon wheel and the elements being on the outside and then the spokes are coming to the center, that causative factor is the spoke that's crooked. And so if we're healing as the wheel is moving, right, then that is a place where it gets caught. And if it's bad enough, then it's broken down. The person is broken down. They're not able to recover on any level, physically, mentally, or emotionally. And so by helping strengthen that causative factor, then the person is able to just handle life better in all ways.
Great.
Any other questions?
So I'm glad that you worked on Dan. How long will that work? How long will that last?
I can come every day.
Do I have stress?
Corporate contract.
Do I cause stress to the people around me? I don't know where you're
I
getting
can't
at.
believe that.
I don't know where you're getting at.
No, seriously,
How long will that
yeah,
work?
when
It's
would you,
different,
when would you do additional, treatments?
So usually when someone's doing this protocol, they will come, say the veterans, they're coming like that. Any kind of a support group or anything like that. It's ideal to do 2 or 3 times a week. People will note, I mean, it really depends on the other parts. That's why I like to do the 5 element, because it's not that I want somebody to come once a week forever. That's not my goal. My goal is to get somebody to the point where they're just doing maintenance and prevention. So they are coming, for some people that's every 3 weeks, and some people that's every 8 weeks. It really depends on how much stress they have on their life, how well they're taking care of themselves on other levels. So I look at that as we're building a bridge from this treatment to the next treatment. And so in the beginning, there's only a few steps on the bridge. So maybe it's once a week. But as time goes on, that gets longer and longer and longer. And people will come to me and tell me, I'm always trying to be concerned about their finances. Well, maybe we should go to 10 days. And they're like, no, I'm not ready for that yet. But then they will tell me when they are ready. So it's also this process of a lot of people don't even know how they feel. They don't even know how good they can feel. But then once they get a taste for it, they start to check in more and realize, oh, I just need a little more support, or think I'm doing well, I can space this out a little longer. And then, maybe they're at 8 weeks, but something tragic happens in their life, or they're just more stressed, and so they'll come in a little sooner. So ideally, people are paying attention to how they feel. A protocol like this, it's hard to say. Some people are going to feel great for 3 days, and some people are going to leave and go talk to really stressful clients and deal with people's money, and I don't know, So it's...
Hey, nice shot.
He's glad it didn't hit me.
That's right. Stand. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I follow HIPAA laws, so I don't, I also am taking insurance, so yes. It's a little different between, there's slight differences between counselors and doctors and acupuncturists. But I take that very seriously. When I go to the acupuncturist, I want to know that that's where it stays, and I want my clients to know that that's where it stays.
I did see a couple days after the Super Bowl, or I read an interview with Tom Brady, who was saying, in response to what are the key things he feels like that's helping with his longevity, and he said besides cardio and strength training, acupuncture.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get in with the Broncos.
No. I bet.
And good nutrition.
How does your process work? Sounds like you do interviewing with a new client first.
I do. So in the first treatment, for a 5-element treatment, I should say, it's 2 hours, and that's because I get a thorough history, a full intake, and we talk about where they're at, how they got there, so some family history stuff, and what their goals are, where they want to go from there. I think it's important to honor their process and what they want to do, what are their goals. Not everybody wants to get off medication, and nor should they. And not everybody, has the same goals that I do. And so I think it's really important to honor what they want and be supportive of them. Of course, I'm honest with them. I don't think you should drink every night, but that might not be their concern. So
But water is so important.
True, it is very important. So in the beginning, we talk a little more, and we also need more time because we're doing those foundational treatments. But then later on, people will come in, and some people, give me a synopsis in 5 minutes, and some people, it's 15 or 20 minutes. So it really depends, and that's one thing that I really liked when I started acupuncture is I'd been to a lot of counselors, and I had, wallowed in all this stuff, and then that was it. But I could go in and share my concerns and my suffering, and then I got needles to move that through, and I could leave feeling better. So it's just very different. But we're conversing the whole time. So that's the other difference between 5-element and traditional Chinese medicine, which is a little bit newer acupuncture, is that I'm in the room with the person the whole time. So they might have points on their back, points on their front. They're moving around. We're conversing. So I'm always checking in. How are you feeling? Do I need to add more points? Are we good where we're at? That type of thing.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joni.
Thank you.
Okay, in the absence